Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Green Deal Leather Final Conference. We're going to have a morning session that is going to be packed with very interesting information. And just to tell you, we are about 80 people in the room, and in total 123. I welcome also the people online. Just for the sake of starting well, I would like to say that this is a social dialogue project and that I'm very proud to have developed together with our colleagues from IndustriAll. We're going to have now the introduction, the welcoming remarks of our president and the Secretary General of IndustriAll. And I would like to give the floor first, ladies first, to Jude Kirton-Darling, Secretary General of IndustriAll. Thank you very much. An applause to welcome them.
Thanks very much, Gustavo, and it's really lovely to be here today and to discuss, but also to celebrate what has been, I think, a very successful joint project that we've been running together with Cotons on Green Deal Leather. I guess this project from our side brought together two really critically important topics. On the one hand, sustainability of the industry, and the environmental sustainability, and the social sustainability, and on the other hand, also the importance of social dialogue, of negotiations, of workplace representation in ensuring that. And it's worth saying, since I know you weren't able to join us yesterday afternoon, Gustavo, because of your internal meetings, but this week has been really been marked by a strong signal from sectoral social dialogue committees in the manufacturing industries, saying that we are campaigning together for a European industrial deal as part of the strategic priorities for the next 5 years for the European Commission. But at the base of that industrial deal are these really fundamental principles of sustainability, strong social dialogue, just transition, and ensuring that we're creating and maintaining good quality jobs for workers in Europe. So this project is, if you like, a sectoral piece of the jigsaw puzzle which fits into that much bigger picture of where we want to see manufacturing in industry going in Europe. And it is for us really important that industrial policy and the place of manufacturing is right at the top of the political agenda in Europe now, and it's also a very strong signal that we launched this joint statement yesterday with Cotons, also with the other social partners from the textile broader sector, Eurotex and footwear, who are, I see Carmen here as well, basically saying this is our common agenda for pursuing good quality jobs. Because the sustainability of production is something that we've been calling for a long time from IndustriAll Europe. We strongly believe, and you've heard us in many meetings, and we insist that the Sustainable Development Framework has 3 legs, arms, corners, the economic, the environmental, but also, very importantly, the social. It's about people as well as planet. And the human impact of manufacturing has to be looked at as well as the environmental impact. And that's exactly what this project has done. And it's essential that it's done in a joined up way, that it's not separated, because that's social sustainability is also in many ways an indicator of environmental sustainability. Where we see bad working conditions, we often see bad environmental performance as well. So this project has been extremely important in that respect. Clearly, health and safety in particular in the workplace is of critical importance for us as trade unions. And I think it's worth saying right at the outset that the headline kind of outcome of the project, identifying this reduction in 16% of reported incidents during the project's period, is really something important. But any incident is an incident too many. We still have work to do. We still have a joint effort which is needed to build a strong safety culture within our industry. It's also really important for us and something to be celebrated today. I'm sure we're going to discuss it. That the project has managed to set a benchmark for the sector in terms of occupational health and safety. And this benchmark sets us on a track towards that objective of zero accidents in the workplace. Sometimes in some political discussions, health and safety is presented as a cost burden on companies, a cost burden in terms of regulatory burden. In fact, an investment in an engagement in a good safety culture is about investing in the future to reduce costs, because the cost of any accident has a human cost for the worker involved, it has an economic cost for the company involved, and it has an overall cost for society. So this is about investing in the future, and a good safety culture is right at the base of that. And you can't have a good safety culture without quality social dialogue. It underpins the very foundation of that safety culture. It must be supported with proper training, to ensuring that workers have access to all of the appropriate personal protective equipment, and a good risk assessment and risk management strategy. But today we're also focusing on the environmental impacts of materials, including leather. And we know that this is where the industrial strategy at European level becomes very important, because this project has also shown that some of the environmental impacts can be dealt with within the sector itself. And some of the carbon footprint can be dealt with. But a large part of the carbon footprint actually stems from the inputs into the sector from the chemicals industry, and therefore the transformation and the development of innovation and new green chemistry has an implication also for sectors which rely on those inputs, also to reduce their scope 3 emissions and to deal with their carbon footprint. So we have to see our industrial fabric in Europe in this joined up way, so that we can ensure that we're really decarbonising and promoting the transformation of industry in a sustainable way, that we don't end up, as we fear at the moment, with a deindustrialization of Europe. And this project, setting out very clearly the situation in the leather sector, is really really important for showing the synergies and the links in the industrial fabric, in order that we can all reach those objectives by 2050 of a net zero economy. So with that said, we from Industrial Europe, we have really welcomed this project. It's been a very active project. There have been site visits. There have been discussions in different parts of Europe, in Frankfurt, in Italy, in Valencia. And this has allowed that spirit and the strength of social dialogue the exchange between workers, unions, and employers on trying to find a way forward to really be put into practice through the project. And we look forward to the ongoing work in our sectoral social dialogue committee with Cotons on that. And as a last word, since this is my chance to say something from the podium, I would just like to also say a personal thank you to the team in Industrial Europe who've been running the project, been engaged in the project. So Elspeth in our secretariat in Brussels, Patricia has done an enormous job in the project on behalf of Industrial Europe from Wiltec. So, and this shows the engagement that we have in the sector, and we will continue to have in the future. Thanks very much, and have a very good conference.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to everybody. It is for me a great pleasure to open this final conference of the Green Deal Leather Project. First of all, I wouldn't like to forget that today I am very glad to remember that our social dialogue started in Europe in 1999. So today it is its 25th anniversary. So we should be very glad of this date, and we should remember it. During nearly 2 years, tanners and their social partners of Italy, Spain, France, Germany, Portugal, Austria, and Hungary have been working together for producing sectoral intelligence in the area of the sector's workplace safety and carbon footprint. Providing transparently to the general public information on these two sensitive areas in the leather industry constitutes at first a new, but it is aligned with the course we have set ourselves in terms of health and safety in the workplace and environmental performance. These are important priorities for European tanners. For being able to claim today that European tanneries perform well in these two areas, and for being able to make further progress there, we needed to produce a first set of data, a baseline, a reference. With this, we have shown the way for our industry at home and abroad to advance in developing sound sectoral governance. And we are proud to have done this exercise in perfect social dialogue. For too often, the general public is confronted with shocking image and media news of workplace accidents or environmental pollution, casting an appalling shadow over the leather industry. Such image and news, they impact also on the reputation and appeal of operators at home. The leather industry will only have a future in Europe if it takes care for the people and the planet. And this starts with its workforce and with the protection of the environment at home. We want to be greener, more sustainable and integrative to attract that we need the best talent in our companies, in our tanneries. Cotans and Industrial Europe have prepared for you an interesting program with the results of the 2 Green Deal leather studies and 2 panels with a fantastic lineup of moderators and speakers who will illustrate what the future might bring these 2 key areas of the industry's governments. I wish all of you an interesting conference, and don't forget that European leather is your smart choice. Thank you very much.
Well, you will have me now for presenting the project, the Green Deal Leather project, that we have been developing over the last 2 years, more or less. It is a social sectoral dialogue project, so it's covered by the European Union, and we're very happy to say so. That is one of a continuation of projects that we have been doing over this last 25 years. We have started with projects and we are ending with projects, and I think there's no better way to celebrate an anniversary as of today than with a project, with the conclusion of a successful project. 7 countries have been involved. My president has already mentioned which are the countries that have been taking part in this project. And we have elaborated 2 studies that are available, of course, online on our sites. And you will see that you will have on your desks as well a calendar that has been produced, as well as some videos and animations. The calendar is going to be serving all people and reminding them every month that we are actually advancing and progressing on environmental matters and as well on social accountability. You see here the lineup of the partners that are in the project. The focus of the project, as has been explained already, are double. We have one leg that is looking at the environmental performance of the industry, and another one at the social accountability of the industry. And on social matters, what we have been interested in doing is to look at workplace safety. It is a recurrent topic that we have been doing. We have been already working on the OIRA. We have developed the OIRA, which is the online interactive risk assessment tool for tanneries, which was already a successful project, but we wanted to go beyond that. We wanted to have a snapshot of what is the situation actually in the sector with regard to incidents and accidents at the workplace. And we wanted to set a kind of starting point for seeing how we can improve over the time in this area. Look at what you can find in these studies. On workplace safety, well, you see there are a number of criteria that are listed here that present the situation in these countries that are under review, that have been reviewed. Number of accidents by gender, by age group, by mode of accident, etc., country of origin. A number of very interesting topics. Must be said that these data are not always publicly available through public data banks in every country, and that is because our sector has shrunk so much that it falls beyond the sieve of statistical performance. So we need to tell that to our authorities that in order to be able to perform better in the future, we need to have also statistical evidence, statistical intelligence that is available for the industry. On carbon footprint, of course, you will have in the study the average carbon footprint of a square meter of bovine leather, which has been calculated with the Eco2L tool, a reviewed tool that is now looking at the carbon footprint of product, which is very important. And we are not only providing this information, what is the average footprint of a square meter of bovine leather, but we wanted also to explain in simple terms, for a layman, for the general public, what it implies to have to calculate, what implies the methodologies of calculating a footprint of a product, and in particular, what is the implications of footprint calculation in the leather industry. It allows also to identify what are the areas where we can seek better, rapid improvement of the footprint, and also where customers and consumers ought to be cautious in understanding the information that is provided over the internet and other places. Okay, a closer look at the tannery workplace safety shows that we have improved a little bit. I would say quite a lot, actually. We have had 16% of accidents less between the 2 years that we have been analyzing, 2019 and 2021. That means that we have an incidence rate of accidents in the sector of 3.2 in 2021. That's, as Jude has said, still too many accidents in the industry. But we can also identify in the study where these accidents are taking place, and that the type of accident, the severity of accidents are generally rated minor. So we are happy. And data that is missing here is that about 15% more or less of these accidents are on the way home or from home to the tannery. So it looks, I mean, we have to improve, but it is not as bad as one would say. We have also identified the accidents by origin. I think it's interesting to see that most of the accidents that are taking place are not necessarily on extra-EU immigrants that are coming to the European Union. These are only 30%, while the majority of accidents are for EU citizens that work in tanneries. So it is wrong to say that the tanneries are a place where immigrants are going to be finding unfair, unsafe working places. In conclusion, for the social part, as Jude has said, we need to be gradually improving, and we need to continue gradually improving, and also that accident is still a reality in the European leather industry. Probably less than outside of the European Union, but it is still too much, and we need to continue towards the goal of 0 accidents in the industry. We are probably never getting to 0, because it's difficult to avoid that accidents take place at all, because these accidents are a reality in life. But we need to tend to this 0 target. We have found also that there are a number of recommendations that can be made in this area, and which are the ones that you see on the screen. Increasing the frequency and quality of inspections, adopting effective policies aimed at education and training on the workplace, spreading and consolidating this safety culture that Jude was mentioning, and investing in workplace safety. These are the keys for improving the situation of accidents in tanneries in Europe, but also everywhere in the world. Now, to the results of the carbon footprint study. Needs to be said that this is a study that was made on audited tanneries in the European Union from Germany, Austria, Italy, Spain, and Portugal. That the production of these companies represent 10.2 million square meters of finished bovine leather. This represents the total production of an average country in the European Union, or say Germany or Portugal or Spain, something like that. That the audits of the tanneries have been done according to the rules of the Eco2L tool, which is as well done or is established on a EU standard, a SENS standard that is indicating how the carbon footprint of leather has to be calculated. There are a number of checks in order to make sure that the data that have been collected are correct, and there you see that these audits are also followed by a plausibility check in order to see whether the data that have been entered into a preparatory tool correspond to the reality, because the interlinks between certain data show whether there is something, an error might have been incurred. what is the average footprint of a bovine leather in Europe? You see here the graph that shows that it's approximately 8 kilograms of CO2 per square meter. What does this mean? This to be an average. It can be lower, so about 4.2 up to about 12 kilograms of CO2. Does this mean that a leather that has a 12 kilogram of CO2 is worse than a leather that has 8? No, it means only that these are performing, that have different performances or different thicknesses. And that is what makes the different carbon footprint. Because what we have done is selected in this tool are only those tanneries that are meeting the standards of best available techniques in the European Union, the BAT reference document. So it's not that there are good or bad products, but there are different types of products within the leather industry. Now, if we look a little bit more into detail, what are the impact categories that are important, we see that chemicals take really the lead in the emissions of for the carbon footprint of leather, followed by production, others, and rawhide conservation. Here, it must be said that we have deliberately excluded from the methodology the livestock sector, because that if we include in the calculation the livestock sector, the footprint of livestock is so important that actually you don't see any differences between the tanneries. So it is important that we have the control, the possibility to control what are the emissions. And that makes that chemicals have such a big role. But you cannot process leather without chemicals. So it is absolutely essential that we understand that. And the way to improve is by trying to ensure that that our chemical industry is able to produce better products which have a better carbon footprint. But there is also a lot that can be done in production, and that is precisely in the area of waste reduction. I think that here we have, as tanners, the possibility to make a lot of improvements. To conclude, this study provides a reference, which is a baseline actually for the industry. We should think that with the time we are going to be improving our carbon footprint for bovine leather. And it shows also that we are highly committed in the industry to environmental protection. And another element that is very important is that for being able to improve, you need to be able to measure the carbon footprint, and that requires reliable, verifiable values that needs to be produced.